Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thanks so much for coming in tonight. Hey, replay viewers, thanks for watching. And hello, YouTube viewers, thanks for watching as well. YouTube viewers, if you'd like to watch live and participate in the chat, you can join me at penguinandfish on Periscope. I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. Thanks so much for coming in tonight, guys. As you can see, I'm still on location. I'm on my mom's machine right here, and we're working on block 50. I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. Hi, Cora. Yeah, I sound a lot better, I'm guessing. I did not feel good last night. And we decided to stay one more night. We got talking about some business stuff and ended up past our kind of point that we could go home. So we're staying one more evening and going home really early tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? I knew what I was getting into. I ate a whole lot of food that was not great, and it did not treat me well. So I feel so much better now. Oh, it was the terrible Jason Bourne movie. You know, the popcorn may have been involved. But I don't know. We saw the Jason Bourne movie at this cool theater, though, where all the seats were like these recliner chairs that you had like a little button to recline however much you wanted to recline, and you had a huge amount of space, and it was kind of a really fun theater. But yeah, doing much better today. So, all right, we are going to continue on block 50. I got all my stuff. We pre-cut those already a couple days ago, and I want to see how much I can sew tonight. I'm not sure we'll make it through the whole thing tonight, but I'm hoping we can at least get the sub pieces done. And I'm going to just kind of lay it all out so we can just sew. And if all goes well, we should be able to go pretty quickly on that, I think, tonight. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going. All right, here is my mom's location again. Here is her cool cutting board that rotates. I'm kind of in love with this. Oh, and I had to show you guys this today too. So I cut out all of my blocks. Ooh, how are we going to show this? I cut down, you know, I laid out all my mom's and my blocks a couple of days ago, and I had a lot to trim down yet, but my mom had this cool ruler. It's called a... oh, what is it? It's a 6.5-inch fussy cut ruler, and you can kind of see it here, but it's a clear ruler that has a 1/4 inch around it. It divides it in half on the diagonal if you have any diagonals to line up, and it divides it in half on the horizontals too. This was so great in trimming down my blocks to the 6.5 because I could make sure that I had it centered. And wow, you know, this is another one of those tools that you're like, oh God, do I really freaking need that tool? I got, it was good enough to have my 6.5-inch ruler here. But really to be able to see everything and have, this diagonal and these horizontals to line up with stuff, man, this did the trick. So I don't know, I might have to get myself one of these too. It's a 6.5-inch fussy cut ruler. Let's see. Oh, it's by Quilting a Day. But yeah, I know, reviewing all the toys, and you know what, I feel like I'm such not a toy person. Like, I love the idea of being able to do things with what I got, but man, you know what, when you get to play with one of these new toys, it really is fun. You don't know what you're missing, I suppose. So, I mean, I have bought a lot of toys for the Splendid Sampler that I would have never done before, but it really has made the process more fun. I suppose that's kind of the deal. You know, I always wondered why everyone, they have all these rulers and they have all these things. Like, oh my God, do you really need all that stuff? But I'm becoming a convert to the things, I think, a little bit. So, all right, just to review what we're doing here. Yeah, if you use them, it's worth it. And normally I wouldn't get something like that. But, we still have 50 blocks on the Splendid Sampler, and I've really used my tools a lot for the Splendid Sampler that I've purchased. And, a project like this... it's really been, kind of great. Yep, I am definitely feeling a ton better. I just, I did the thing where I just ate a ton of food, like fried food, in a very short amount of time, and a lot of it, and you know what, that I do not fare well doing that. And I was just, sick all evening. So that was fun. But alright guys, so all we have here is, for the for the 4 corners. Yeah, it's the whole, I went off the whole 30, Cora, in a bad way, just to see if I could, basically, and yep, that's what happened. So, alright, I'm gonna just, for this is where we draw a line down the center, the diagonal, and then we sew on either side a scant quarter, and then we're gonna get our few half square triangles for the corners. And then the rest are these flying geese. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to draw the diagonal on the flying geese. I think I'm going to just eyeball it and see how we do. I'm going to eyeball it. That's how I used to do everything. None of this precision. I'm going to see if I can eyeball it and get precise. But this since, you know, we do have to go the scant quarter on either side of this diagonal, I am going to draw those diagonals. So I'm going to just lay all these out quick right away so I can sew it. And this is it for the subunits. After we get the subunits done, then all we gotta do is sew all the subunits together. Yeah, and you know what? I got a little sunburnt yesterday too, and that didn't help things. And I wasn't drinking the water I should, so it was a whole combo of me doing stupid things, basically. So I deserved what I got, I suppose. But, you know, yeah, exactly, Coral, like how you're saying, you gotta learn the wrong way. But it's kind of funny. I was talking about how it's, with food, it's kind of human nature to forget that food did not make you feel well, you know what I mean? And eat it anyway. Just because, you know, your body, you know, as animals, we want to be reminded that, oh yeah, food, we need food. Make sure to get the food whenever we can. You know what I mean? So you still want all that horrible stuff, even though it doesn't make you feel good. Like when you're in it, it sucks. But afterwards, you're like, oh, I still kind of want to eat all that stuff, and it wasn't that bad, was it? So I think that's an evolution thing. I know, sometimes you just want to eat everything. And I knew I was like, this is probably a little more than I should be eating, but everything was so delicious and yummy. All right, so I'm putting, mosquito. There's a mosquito flying around here. So it was beautiful again here. I mean, it was just so beautiful today. It was actually cool enough that we could open the windows. So I don't know, you guys can probably hear crickets right now, but I don't know. We haven't heard the frogs. Frogs are kind of, we've seen frogs, but I don't know, they're done with their little mating calls or something, I don't know. So, alright, I'm gonna lay out all these. I'm gonna use, oh yeah, not a Zika one, hopefully. Oh my god, that whole thing is just, ugh, that stuff is so scary. Alright, so I'm gonna just use this as a guide. We're making basically 2 of each flying geese. So it's, you know, we have the white rectangle for all of these, and then we're just doing light colors with like for 2 each, and then we got 1 each of these special ones. So I'm just gonna use this as a guide and lay them all out right away, because then I can just, you know, crank them out, I'm hoping. So I'm just gonna make a nice row of these. Oh, and I can't watch it vlogs. Make you feel anxious. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I felt so bad last night that I didn't come on. I was like, oh, maybe I can do it. But it's just one of those things that go in waves. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, when you're feeling sick like that, it just, you don't know if 2 seconds later you're just gonna get all feverish and not well again. So, all right, so here we go. Okay, so like with like, so I'm just gonna flip these over. I will, I'm putting right sides together. I will do a better job of, you know, lining them up when I get to oh, yep, I'm feeling so much better tonight, for sure. So I'm only laying out 2 of each, it looks like. Let me just read, actually. Make 2 flying geese units, repeat the steps for all that. Okay, yes, so we're only making 2. Yep, I just did not eat well and was out in the sun too long and didn't drink water. I said, you ever decide not to do them? I need medical help, though. Well, I'll at least be here for the next 50 blocks, for sure. But yeah, I'm hoping to do other crafts and that sort of thing after as well. All right, so 2, 2, 2. Oh, I'm like, but I have 2 more after these. It's a different color. All right, so 2 of these. These are the ones that are difficult to know what's the right side and the wrong side. Just gotta double check these ones. Oh, I see that mosquito again. If it comes back over here, I'll get him. All right, so here are those 2 specialty ones. So here I gotta really pay attention to what we got going on here. So, all right, the green one, maybe I'll do it in the order that they show it to, just so I don't mess up. So we got a blue on this side, an orange on this side of the green, and the opposite here. Okay. All right, we're laid out. We're ready to go here. So these ones I drew the lines on, and I'm going to sew a scant quarter on each side. And these ones I'm going to sew all flying geese. I'll sew the one side, and then I'll do the other. Same thing with these guys. So a whole pile of sewing right now, and then we'll switch to the ironing. All right, here's my mom's machine. Experienced mean people at the fabric store today. You know what? I'm so surprised that still happens. I mean, a lot of fabric stores are absolutely fabulous, but I mean, most fabric stores are absolutely fabulous, and you want to, patronize them and stuff. But every once in a while, I find this with certain yarn stores and stuff too. You just go in there and you feel like, oh my God, why are you coming into my store? You're just bothering me. You know what I mean? And then sometimes people are great. So that sucks that you had a poor experience. That's never fun. I'm going to use this as my leader. Oh, is that what happened? Oh my gosh. See, that's the thing. That's the scary, that's the bit right there is like, or like, they look at you and like, okay, you clearly don't know anything about quilting or whatever, and you're going to just totally waste my time, or, I don't know. It's that's the attitude sometimes. Yeah. I hope that doesn't turn you off from going to places, because that's too bad. So, all right. I'm using my mom's machine, and I think this is a 1/4 inch. She has a nice 1/4 inch foot, basically what I should have. I looked through my feet, and I didn't have a 1/4 inch foot. Actually, I think this is more like a scant 1/4 inch foot. So I'm going to trust her machine and use it as a guide. So I'm just going to put my line on the outside of the foot right there, and assume that that's my scant 1/4. And so I should be going, if I keep that line, my pencil line along that edge, I should be sewing a 1/4 inch or a scant 1/4 along my edge there. And I think that should be just right. Oh, it is! Oh! There's my mom. She's telling me that that is a scant 1/4, so that's good. So I have to show you guys, my mom says yeah. So tomorrow, I'll have to post a picture on Instagram. My mom and I laid out our blocks, and I know, there's that mosquito, out of here. I'm trying this for the straight line, so I gotta stop talking for a sec. But we laid out our blocks. I know we did it the other day, but I laid them out again. So I combined all of our blocks together so that it was basically 100 blocks. So I wanted to see what would 100 blocks look like. I think we were a little shy. Or I did 11 blocks by 10 blocks because I figured we both had some bonus blocks. So instead of a 10 by 10 block, which would be 100 blocks, we're going to do an 11 by 10. And I laid it out, and we put a blanket underneath so we could kind of estimate what our borders were. And it was really kind of cool to look at. So I took a photo of it. I'll post it on my Instagram tomorrow, and then you can kind of see, at least our thinking, we can get a sense of what will this look like as, I'll for sure post. what will this look like as 100 blocks? And, you know, I'm doing just a queen size. Oh, you laid yours out the first time. Oh, so fun. Oh, yeah, that's the best part, is seeing how your blocks, the fabrics and stuff look together. Like for me, I kind of discovered, I need this, my mom's little awl for her stiletto. I kind of discovered that I kind of need more blue in mine. Where can I find it? Oh, I haven't posted it yet. You know, I haven't posted the Periscope yet either, because I can't upload stuff from my parents' house very well to YouTube. So when I get home, I'll upload it. But if you go into Periscope, if you go into me, Penguin and Fish, it'll show like all my scopes. It saves all of them now. So you can look at when I had both of ours separately. Oh, you don't do Instagram? Well, that's fine. You can actually just look it up. My Instagram, if you don't go through Instagram, just type in a web address. It's instagram.com/penguinandfish, all one word. That's where I'll post it. So even if you don't have Instagram, you can still look at it on the website. But I haven't posted it yet. I'll post it tomorrow, maybe before we head out. We're gonna leave tomorrow morning early. So that's, I'll post that. But it was really neat. You know, it was really fun to see both of ours individually, because then you could see the colors that my mom's using and the colors that I'm using. And it's really kind of fun to see the differences. But it was really cool to put them all together to get a sense of the bulk of how many blocks it's going to be. You know, so it was about 100 blocks that we put together. 100 because my mom has more done. She has the 50 plus a bunch of bonuses, and I have about 42 because I have like 8 or so undone. So in the end, we got to see what 100 looks like between the two of us. But it really gave us a good sense of it. And I think based on that, I think neither of us are going to use sashing. I think we're both going to just put all of our blocks in the center, you know, 11 by 10, and then just do really big borders that can hang over the bed. I think that's what we both kind of decided we're going to do. So right now I'm just eyeballing this. Oh, yeah, the 50. Yeah, so that's what's fun. Each little block is like its own work of art. I'm totally yapping and not sewing. We might not get too much done tonight. But they were like their own works of art. But then we were discovering that we could kind of group our blocks by color or group our blocks by different things. And it was kind of making this other art, you know, look from far away, which was kind of cool that we were liking. So, all right, just so you know, I've not drawn lines on this. I just started at the corner, and then I am just kind of putting my stiletto here. It's almost like a pin, holding it in place, and I'm just kind of aiming my stiletto to the needle. That's how I'm eyeballing this thing. And I'm getting pretty close. I'm getting close enough for our needs for sure. That's all I'm doing here. And I'm also, yeah, the stilettos are awesome. And this is just an awl. Just an awl. And I'm also starting from the straight edge here. You know, I could be sewing this way, like starting from the point and going to the center here. But when I've done that in the past, my machine wants to eat the point. Like it pushes this point down into the machine because there's just nothing for it to really grab on, I think. So I always like doing my flying geese from the outside, or from the you know, straight edge, the inside to the outer corner. All right, let's scratch this guy back in place. There we go. So yeah, so none of these videos from when I was when I'm at my parents' house here, none of these are up on YouTube yet, just in case you've been looking. My YouTube is Penguin and Fish Movies, and I've been putting all these up. Ooh, that was a little shy. Hopefully that won't be too bad. But I will put them all up probably late tomorrow, so they should be up by Monday. So the beginning of this block and the end of block 49, and the extra Periscope that I did showing my mom's and my blocks. Love my all to direct fabric. Yeah, I love it too. Oh, changes the way you sew. Oh, hey, Andrew. Thanks for coming in. Penguin and Fish Movies. That's That's the YouTube. Alrighty. I have 4 more to go this direction, and then we'll sew the other side of all these. This isn't going to take that long. You know, the trick is, you know, you think, oh, we'll sew this up really quick, but there's the cutting step and the pressing step yet, so we do have extra steps before we get too much further. All right. Oh, I'm kind of wondering. I wonder if I want to. I don't know. I think maybe I want to press these sides before I sew the other side. I think that's what I've kind of done in the past. I don't know. When you guys do sewing or flying geese, do you sew both squares on first? I know, halfway there, right, Andrew? Isn't that something? So do you press first? Oh, Marianne, you press first. I think you kind of have to press first, right? You press first and then do the other side. Press in between. One at a time. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do. One side at a time. All right, good. I had a little brain freeze there thinking about that, so I'm glad I have you guys. You guys to set me straight. Oh, wow, that one's kind of... I didn't aim very well on that one either. Okay, last one here, and then I'll rotate you guys, and we'll press these. You know what? I might actually... I'll sew the other halves of the half square triangles first quick, and then I will... Then I can cut those and press those at the same time too. Wow, my mom's machine, the feet grab the fabric so much better than my machine. It's kind of awesome. All right, so I need little scissors. Take the leader off. I'm gonna do these two. I gotta sew the other side of these half square triangles. I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so again, I'm putting my line on the outer edge here, so I can do a scant quarter away from that center line. Yeah, this machine just feels smooth compared to mine. It's just, it sounds pretty, like, I don't know, it's just nice. You do what? Can you say that again? I think I missed that. All right, so this side, and then we'll be done. All right, I need that leader again. That's right here. Okay. Turn this off for a sec. There we go. All right. I don't really have to turn that off, but it does lighten my work area here a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna snip these. I cut away the inside piece of the flying geese. The inside piece? What's the inside piece? You mean the, like this piece? Like this piece here? You're giving your mom a Christmas birthday gift idea. Okay, yeah, so I'm totally going to do that. I'm going to actually press it before I cut that away, but I will cut that away before I sew again. I learned this from my mom. I know I've been saying this a lot lately when I've been doing these flying geese. Oh, you press first too. So I like, you know, ultimately we're going to cut this off. So this is going to look like this, right? When we're done, and this will be pressed like this. But instead of cutting this off first, which seems logical because it's right there, why not cut it? Instead of doing that, I'm going to press it first, because having this edge here is a good guide for getting, you know, square, getting my edge, this edge to line up with that outer edge. So Mom told me that one, so I always press my flying geese now first before cutting. So I'll press them and then I'll go in and trim it. So that's the plan. So I'm just going through my stack here. I will trim it off, and we'll spend some time pressing. Then I just, yeah, yay, Mom, I know, I always do stuff, and then she's like, well, you know, you could just do this. And I'm like, oh, that's the smartest thing ever. So, I like when she's, when she's here when I sew stuff, or when she's in Periscope and says stuff, it's nice. All right, so here we are. I like lining things up too in the same order before pressing, because then I can just take them all out and, you know, do them all the same way. It's just nice to get in a system. So, all right, I'm going to rotate this way a bit. Mama knows best. So here's my mom's fun rotating cutting board. And I do have her little, you know, we kind of tested her travel iron last time. So I got that out again. It was just easiest. So I have, maybe I'll go this way. Then you guys can see a little better. But I have her little travel iron. I got that on. It's super hot already. And she's got this cool pad with the rubber part for the iron. I don't know, it's kind of slick. It's just great for travel. So, all right, let's see. First of all, let's trim. I'm going to get these guys a little out of the way. We'll just have to make sure that we match them up again. But let's trim our half square triangles first. So we are just cutting the diagonal. That line we drew, we're just going to cut right on that. So diagonal. And that's going to be we're going to get 2 half square triangles. We are making the Splendid Sampler quilt along. You can find out more info at thesplendidsampler.com. It's a year-long quilt along. So we're making a quilt with 100 blocks in it. There we go. See, so we get, there was a half square triangle. And there's over 22,000 people on the email list for this, and there's over 22,000 people, I think, something like that, in the Facebook group. So just think that there may be 22,000 people potentially making this quilt, this mystery quilt along. It's kind of just amazing that the community's that big, and you know, you can just say, you know, any city, and there's people there, you know, around the world really, and there's people there making these blocks. It is just crazy fascinating. But yeah, and it's completely free right now. It's eventually going to be made into a book, all the blocks, but right now it's free. Yeah, you're collecting right now. I'm collecting the bonus blocks. I haven't done really any of the bonus blocks. So all right, I'm going to press to the dark side. And when I press the dark side, I always kind of like to have the dark side up. I mean, this yellow isn't really that dark, but in the sense of this, it's kind of dark. This iron is just so funny. Oh, you should give it a try, Cora. It's you know, we're always here to help for sure, but it's just kind of fun. It's just neat to be making something. Finished the first block last night. Oh, yeah, congrats. Probably more since I'm not on the list or the Facebook group. But you're working on it. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you don't have to be part of that at all. The Facebook group is neat from the sense of you can see how other people are making their blocks, and it's really great for ideas. Like, it's like, oh, they did this and this trick. I'm going to try that too. So it's just kind of fun to see. And if you have a question on anything related to this, someone there is going to know the answer. And it's been a really just lovely, helpful group of people. And I don't know, that can be pretty unique. They're pretty good. The people who run the group are really good at keeping it positive, and it's just been super enjoyable to be a part of. And I got to be one of the designers. I got to do block 11, so I'm just super stoked about that. And I mean, I never knew it was going to be a thing that's this huge either. Like, just think about that once. Even if half the amount of people who have signed up for this thing, I mean, it's not really a sign up. It's just, you know, to be on the Facebook group or whatever, or to get the email newsletter that's a reminder. It's not like you have to apply or anything like that. But just imagine if only half the amount of people made a quilt. That's still 10,000 quilts of this. You know, 10,000 people making all of these mystery blocks. Yeah, and I'm totally with you too, Mary. It's just, I have learned just so much. I mean, I've been telling people I feel like I've gone from like an amateur or someone who kind of knew enough just to get by, just to kind of fake it in a room, you know, with quilting. Like, I knew enough to kind of fake it, right? I could make a quilt, but, you know, I'd really be, in my head, I'm thinking through everything really hard and everything. But now I feel like I've learned so many tips, so many little tricks, Yeah, novice to pro. I mean, I totally feel like, you know, I wrote about this, that this is what my blog post was about, but that I feel like I can just stand up in a room with other like master quilter people, those people who just, that they know everything, right? Or they seem like they know everything. And I just feel like I could hold my own in that group, and I'm not sure I would have before. So I don't know. I went into this as a learning experience, and it's been good. Some people have been doing this all by hand too, which is kind of interesting. So what I'm doing now is I'm lining up, like I said a little earlier, I'm lining up as I'm pressing. I'm using this edge as a guide for my edge here that I'm pressing here. And as long as I can get it close to the edge that's already there, I know that I'm going to ultimately be pretty square. So that's why I'm not cutting this off first. So I'm just going to press all of these open, and then we'll go back and trim them all. Yeah, well, I'm doing the Splendid Sampler on my kitchen table. So our little dining room table, and then in the after I'm done at night with the Periscope and doing it, I just kind of move everything to one side of the kitchen table and put our placemats back. So not ideal, but I'm working in a small space. I have like all my fabric is just stored in a small little bin, and I just pull out the fabrics that I need when I'm doing it. And so I'm not, oops, I kind of squished the other side of this. So the one thing about this mat is that it's not real flat, but I mean, I think if I used it a lot, it would kind of flatten itself out. And I have it all folded up too. I mean, if you're really doing clothes or something, if you're on vacation, then this would probably be a lot easier to do. But working in this little space here, and it's working a-okay. I'm kind of digging this. I almost want to get a little guy. I did get a smaller iron, like a travel iron, but this is the one I was hoping to get, and they didn't have it when I was looking for an iron. But this is kind of awesome for these small pieces. This isn't that heavy. It doesn't feel like it's a bear to hold, like it's not hurting my wrists or anything because the iron's so heavy, and I just, flip over my little flying geese guy and do this. What is this? This is it's hot. It's super hot right now. I have a sticker. Oh, it's a steam. Oh, look at that funny elephant. It's a steam fast. Let's see. Steam fast. What other info is on here? It just says a steam fast travel iron. So I don't know, but it has a funny shape. This shape's pretty unique. It's got this kind of funny hand grip deal. But yeah, steam fast is what it says on there. So I'm sure if you went to Amazon or Google that, I'll take a photo of it, and once I get, on Amazon, okay, that's where Mom got it. Once I get home tomorrow, I'll put a link to it on this. All right, I got 3 more left. And it's super hot. Like, it's really ironing these well. Like, I'm a little scared to touch it. It's pretty dang hot right now. All right, 1 more, and then I will trim these, and then we can sew again. But yeah, we're getting through these. We might have time to assemble some things. That'd be nice. All right, there we go. So I'm going to set this on that rubber plate over here. Okay, you know what? I'm going to grab my mom's bigger scissors. I kind of like cutting these with the larger scissors. So, all right, so now that I have these all cut like this, now I'm going to go in and cut these off at like a 1/4 inch seam allowance about. It doesn't matter all that much, but, scant quarter, something like that. There we go. So now this is ready for the next stage. You know what? I'm going to just match them up with where they belong down here right away. So These get another blue. Oh, I didn't cut that one yet. Any black sneak peek? I don't know. I haven't checked. Has anyone else checked to see? Every once in a while on the Facebook page, they'll throw a little sneak peek of what the block is. We get new blocks every Thursday and Sunday. So tomorrow is new block day. 51. So we're past the midpoint officially tomorrow. Ooh, you think hexies like paper piece hexies? That'll be interesting. You know what? That last paper piece hexie, the So South one, I haven't even started that one yet. That was when my husband and I were on vacation, and so that one's not even. That one has completely not been started by me yet. Oh, so yes, so it's official. Is it? There's an official sneak peek that there's some hexies. Oh no, you don't want to have hexies. Oh, you haven't started So South either. Yeah, I haven't started that one. That one looks, the So South one looks pretty quick as far as hexies go. That other hexie one, the hexies with like that whole like wreath of hexies, the inchy hexies, I think that's what, something like that. That one I'm not even close. I'm gonna have to have, I'm gonna have to have dedicated like marathon days for each style, because I have enough embroidery blocks for a marathon. I have enough applique blocks for a marathon. I have enough English paper piecing for a marathon, and enough foundation paper piecing for a marathon. Like seriously, I could do a day's worth of each of those things. How do you do a sneak peek? I'm not doing a sneak peek. The runners of the people who run this are Pat Sloan and Jane Davidson. They are running the whole quilt along, and they're also running the Facebook page. And every once in a while, just to antagonize us or tease us, they release the block either a day early, or they release just a little sneak peek of the block. So on Saturdays, every once in a while, we're like, ooh, is there a sneak peek? So if you want to see, you can go to the Facebook page. It's the Splendid Sampler for the Facebook page, and the website as well. What's the difference between foundation piecing and English paper piecing? So English paper piecing is usually you have a stencil that's like like a hexagon, for example, and you, by hand, you fold over the edges of your fabric around that hexagon, and that will make the shape of the hexagon. And you're basically sewing that by hand to other hexagons or other shapes. So that's English paper piecing. Foundation paper piecing is you have a piece of paper, and that's our foundation, with a whole design on it. It kind of looks something similar to this, and it has numbers and letters and all this, and you sew your fabric directly to the paper, which is your foundation. You sew it directly to your foundation, and that makes the shape. That's foundation paper piecing. And both sound super intimidating, but both are completely doable and are nothing to worry about. And if you go to Penguin and Fish movies, we've done a few of those in the Splendid Sampler already. So I have some videos there of both English paper piecing and foundation paper piecing. They sound scary, but they're totally doable. Okay, I'm just making sure that I got this one right. And the other one, the blue, goes on the right side. You like paper piecing the best? Yeah, you know what? That was one of those scary things that I'm like, oh, this is just some crazy puzzle that I'll never know how to do. But once I figured it out, it's just like a super duper magic trick. I love it. And besides it being a magic trick, the magic trick is that you can do such intricate designs, and people are like, how did you do that intricate design? It's impossible. That's what foundation paper piecing gives you. And it also, the other beautiful magic trick of it is that you get rid of cutting perfect shapes. You don't have to measure at all, hardly. You can just sew on a line. You don't have to worry about a perfect 1/4-inch seam allowance. It's just fabulous. It allows your brain to just chill and not think so much. It's kind of awesome. So, all right, we just need to go through these and then we're kind of done. All we need to do is sew the whole thing together. So let me just get set up over here again. So that didn't take long, and I've been chatting the whole time too. All right, so again, I'm gonna start from the middle and go towards the corner. Neutral brain quilting. I am with ya. Nothing wrong with that. That's why I like knitting and crochet so much, and foundation paper piecing kind of gets me the same kind of chill, just relax feeling that that knitting and crochet give me, and that was a big surprise to me. Oh, I'm a little off here. Oops, there we go. All right, I'm working on, I didn't draw the line on again, so I'm just working on the diagonal. I just dropped these on the ground. Oh, well, you can find me, just email me at Alyssa, ALYSSA, at penguinandfish, or info@penguinandfish, and you can talk to me that way. I can totally send you an address if you really want to do that. That's sweet. Alrighty. Good. So these are our two specialty ones that have that funny colored rectangle. All our other ones, so those are our two special flying geese. All these other ones are on the white background, and the color matches. So all I have to do on this yet is just we have to do the pressing and the cutting again. See, so all of those are those steps that you forget are like, oh yeah, I gotta do all the pressing and cutting still. But oh wow, I'm way not straight on this. Oh well, we'll have to figure that one out. Ooh, I don't have my needle down thing on. All right. My mom has that cool needle down feature, so whenever I stop stitching, the needle is down, which is great because it holds the fabric in place. But I forgot, I turned the machine off when I went to cut, and I didn't turn that option back on. Ooh, see, no, my fabric's getting cut. This is that really gauzy fabric, so this one doesn't always want to cooperate with me. I did starch it yesterday, but looks like I probably could have used some more starch. I didn't. I drew the diagonals with the pencil on my half square triangles, but I decided to wing it on these. So normally, if you want to do this a whole lot better than what I'm doing, you would, on the wrong side, draw the diagonal on with a ruler, you know, from here to here, and then sew right on your diagonal line. That would be a way to be way more accurate. I decided to bail on that today and just see if I could wing it. And I'm not doing as well on this side as I did on the other side. So I don't know. You're having trouble getting them 100% accurate, then I would definitely draw the lines on. That will help. Oh yeah, you can use a marker to, actually I would use either water-soluble marker or just like a light pencil with these, because these you're actually stitching right on the line. So if if you use a dark marker, you'll probably be able to see that through, versus this you could have used a marker because we're just cutting it off right there. So, but I don't know, I probably wouldn't use like a dark marker or anything for these diagonals. I would just lightly draw with pencil or use a water erasable marking pen, because this line will probably be visible. I'm totally just eyeballing it. I'm kind of running under the assumption that I'll be able to fudge it well enough with my pressing. So I can just press it there and it'll be like a little off. Like I went a little, like, look at this. I have a little arch going here. I'm not perfectly, could you press in half before sewing? I mean, in theory, you could. That would give you just a visual line, but you'd have to open it up again anyway to sew. So I don't know how much of a benefit that would give you. Oh, and it might distort. Yeah, that's probably a good point too. I mean, I think you're going to be more accurate. You're going to be most accurate if you actually draw the diagonal, I think, and then just stitch right on the diagonal. I just have 3 more here. Then we're done. Yeah, you're probably going to be more accurate that way. All right. Yeah, sometimes I just believe in fudging. Like, sometimes I think close. Like, if you're close enough, you're fine. Although, a lot of times with the small blocks like this, you really do kind of want to watch your accuracy, because if you're off in your scant 1/4 inch and all that, the size of your block in the end can get a little off, and we want the size of the block to be as close to 6.5 inches as possible. Yeah, the 80%. So I always kind of have in my head that I only have to get it done like 80% of perfect. You know what I mean? Like, if you're shooting to have it perfect, you'll just keep undoing it, and you'll just be sad with what you've done every single time. But if you shoot for like, I only have to get it 8%, you're going to get stuff done, because you're going to do more, because it's not going to be so scary, because you don't have to have it perfect. And, you know, chances are you're going to do it really well anyway. And your 80% is probably someone else's 100% too. Yeah, you'll just never start. It's just too scary if you think beforehand that you got to go to 100%. I mean, that's just kind of, you're saying if you don't do it perfect, you're going to fail, and that's just, you're not going to enjoy yourself, and you're not going to get anything. You're not going to do anything. All right. So when I start feeling like that, then I always have to remember that, oh, I only have to do it 80%. Yeah, steals the joy. Oh, so I'm using my mom's machine, and she happens to have a scant 1/4 foot. This is a machine specific for quilters, so, you know, they have all the bells and whistles for quilters. So this one has an actual scant 1/4. At home, I am not using a scant 1/4 inch, so I have to mark. I have to test. I have to sew like 2 pieces of fabric together, and there's Mom. It's her machine. But I have to sew a couple pieces of fabric together, open it, and test it. If you Google how to test a scant 1/4 inch, there'll be all sorts of ways. And then I have marked mine. I've marked mine with actually a business card, but you can mark it with, you know, pencil or something like that. I use that as my guide. I don't use my presser foot as a guide. Actually, now I kind of do use my presser foot as a guide, but I know how far in, like, I recognize the how far in equals the scant 1/4. But you're going to want to figure that out before you get too far with the teensy tiny blocks, the blocks that just have these itty bitty pieces. Again, I would maybe just Google how to figure out a scant 1/4, and that's probably the easiest way to do it. All right, done. Now I'm just going to press these again. And for most stuff, like, I never worried too much about a scant 1/4. It was only when I started the Splendid Sampler, just because these blocks are so small that if you're just a little bit off, they can get a little funny. You know, they'll just be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller than the 6.5 inch block that we're going for. Here, I'm going to go this way. But that'd be a good thing to just spend a half hour figuring out. And it took me actually a lot of blocks to figure it out. I had to tweak over my first few blocks. And I had to spend, like, the checkerboard block, I really spent a lot of time, way more time than I normally would on that block, just because it was going to be a test in accuracy for me. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to get as accurate as I can on this, and I'm going to rip things out if it's not perfect. That one I did trying to be perfect on for the sake of learning accuracy, because that was something And I still struggle with that. I struggle with my scant 1/4 inch still, and I struggle with sewing a straight line sometimes still. So that's something that I'm paying attention to because I've realized I'm not all that great at that. But yeah, I think it'd be good to figure out your scant 1/4 inch sooner than later. You'll just be happier with your blocks when you're done, because they'll be the right size, or they'll be close to the right size. I trimmed all my blocks today, because a lot of my earlier blocks I haven't trimmed down, and man, I could tell, after looking at all those older blocks, how I got better at my scant 1/4 and the accuracy, because all my later blocks are pretty close to that 6.5 inches, but man, like I cut down block number 2, I was a good 1/4 inch larger over every side. So that was like a 1/2 inch too large. So my scant 1/4 inch was clearly way off on that. It was too less, the scant 1/4, because my seam allowances were too small, making my whole piece bigger. So yeah, I could see as I went along that I got a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, so easier to do bigger than trim too small. I had several that were too small as well. So those, I don't know, I'm gonna have to scrunch up a little, or I'm just gonna, there's a few that I'll have to have like an 1/8 inch allowance on, but I definitely can tell that in the later blocks it definitely has been improving, which is something I'm actively trying to do, because I realized early that, like, wow, I can't sew a straight line and I can't sew a scant 1/4 inch. I better work on those during this process. So we just have to trim these, and I think, we got 7 minutes or so yet. I think maybe we'll sew these together a little bit. Oh, you know what? I bet you we have to cut these down. I'll have to read the instructions. I didn't trim those down at all. These we shouldn't have to trim. Did you change how... Oh, it is like it used to be tonight. I'm at my parents' house, so I'm on location, so that's probably why it looks different tonight. I know, this iron's pretty dang slick. I'm kind of wanting one. I want all my mom's stuff. She's got this cool, oh, it's not flipped. Oh, that's interesting. I am angled up a little bit more, because it's back quite a bit farther, so I think maybe it's that angle. Unfortunately, I can't really get that angle so well at home, but I don't know, maybe I'll, I have an L, like I'm on an L-shaped table, and I don't have that at home, but that's good to know. Maybe I'll try and figure out some sort of adjustment at home so it doesn't flip it as much. Yeah, because that's not fun at all. Okay, how big do these have to be? Okay, using 2 3-inch squares. The unfinished unit size is 2.5 by 2.5. Okay, so I have to cut these to 2.5 inch blocks. So I didn't do that yet. So let's see how we are on that. So I'm putting, this has a diagonal on it, and I'm putting that diagonal on the diagonal of this, and I'm hoping to cut 2 edges and then flip it and cut the other. In theory, I could rotate all this, but I don't know if I need to deal with that. So I'm going to stand up for this. So we're actually pretty close to the 2.5 inch already, like scarily close. So but I'm still going to trim it down. Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm noticing, too. These didn't leave us much room. Every once in a while, we'll have to cut it down, and we got a good 1/4 inch to cut down, which is kind of relaxing, you're not going to mess it up. You have enough to be able to trim it. But yeah, these are pretty close. So now I'm going to line up, now that I have that edge square, I'm going to still line up my diagonal, and I'm going to line up my 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches. I should be using the other side. This one has the 1/2 inch on there. Now I can. So I'm lining up that diagonal. Yeah, this gives me like a 32nd of an inch. So, which means I would have had to really do my scant 1/4 well on this more than in some of the other blocks. So we gotta do, see, it's all these little steps that you're like, oh man, I gotta do all those steps too. You forget that all these steps take time to. And flip it. So I'm using my mom's rotary cutter again. It's this little better ergonomic one, and it has the safety. So safety on and safety off, and lock it again to leave it in that position. I always have to remember to turn it back off. You don't want to accidentally grab that blade, unless you want to cut through your fingers, because it's sharp. All right. See, all these little things just take time. I forget that cutting takes so much time. I still think we maybe, we got a few minutes left. I still think I might want to try sewing as part of the pieces. All right. Did I get all that? Oops. Nope, I didn't really. Ooh. Wow, I didn't really press through that. Let me just snip that little edge off. There we go. All right, one more after this one. Getting that diagonal again. All right. One more. I always kind of line up the diagonal first and then make sure I got my 2.5 inch worth of space. Wow, I'm really close on this one. Woo, slipped a little. More scraps to add to my scrap bin. I've been saving all of these itty bitty scraps. The other day, I don't know if you watched that episode. I suppose I could call these episodes, but I don't know if you watched that one where we made fabric out of all our tiny scraps. So I've been saving all of these tiny scraps for the sake of making more of that fabric. Those are going to be a lot of my bonus blocks, I think, for the Splendid Sampler, so I can have my 11 down and 10 over number of blocks. I'm just going to add more of the scrappy blocks. All right, so we are done cutting the subunits. So now let's, I want to kind of lay this out. And I'd like to sew something yet tonight. Here's the sewing, the layout. So let's kind of get this all laid out. And it looks like we first have to sew the twos. These two together, so these two together, and then we can sew these to it. This row, we just sew the whole row of it together. I wonder if there's any, okay, press all seams open is what they're saying. So, all right, fine. I hate pressing the seams open, but we'll do it. With a piece like this, there's so many seams that it's gonna get bulky really fast, so it's probably good advice. I don't know, I'm just still not really a fan of that pressing open. So, all right, here are our 4 corners. And let's see. Got a couple of these down here. Do I have 2? Nope, there we go. Oh, I did not cut these, dang it. All right, we gotta do that first. Oh yeah, I didn't cut any of these. All right, let's do that quick. Scissors. I'll cut them and lay them out at the same time. Thought that felt thicker than it should. Oh, thanks for coming in. I appreciate you being here for sure. This is probably going to take up the rest of the time cutting these, but I still think I might sew something together. Maybe I'll sew these two and then these two that are going to be up here. Then all we have to do is the other units when we're done. Although my mom has that nice scant quarter. This goes this way. The scant quarter presser foot, which is pretty nice. Nice to use. I won't have that tomorrow. This way. I always have to double check that I'm putting these guys the right way, because it always takes me a few turns to get it right. There. So I'm just leaving like a 1/4 inch or so. Oh, these little steps. Yeah, look. So for this one, for example, you can see, let's see if I, oops, sorry, if I can get that in focus. No, here, get my hand in focus. There we go. So here's one that I totally did not do my diagonal well. I curved way out, but by pressing it, using this as a guide, my outer edge here as a guide for pressing it, it kind of made up, I mean, I have this little bloop under here, but it's not going to matter once I sew it in. So I've kind of made up for, I'm fudging the results of that sewing. So, you know, wasn't perfect there for sure, but we're faking it. This one too. Yeah, this gauzy fabric just doesn't always agree with me. Definitely could have used some more heavier starch there. Really sprayed on. There's 2 gauzy fabrics that I'm using in my Splendid Sampler fabrics. Okay, this one goes on this side. And yeah, I just really have to remember to spray those ones a whole lot more. Okay, and this way. It's kind of a cute deal in the middle. Little arrows. All right, so how are we doing on time? You know what? I think we'll just stop it here. Oh, you know what? New block tomorrow. So this is going to go in my unfinished block pile, guys. I kind of messed myself up by being sick yesterday, so we could have gotten this done, but well. I'm going to just leave it as is. So we kind of got the layout here. We're getting a feel for it. And next time we have a free day, this at least is a block that I know I can finish in one more sitting. So I kind of, whenever I have a free day, I kind of like getting these quick ones done. So, all right, another unfinished block 50. I think this is number 11 for my unfinished blocks. I have this one and the squirrel one will each take just one more session, so those ones will be the first ones I get done. And then, like I said, I'm going to need to do some sort of marathon for those other ones. Like, one day will have to be an embroidery marathon, one day will have to be paper piecing, you know, English paper piecing, and what was the other one? Applique. I'm going to have marathons for all that. Oh, thanks so much. Yep, I'm headed home tomorrow. So, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around, and we'll call it a night. Oops, sorry, there we go. So just to show you how little these pieces are again, I just, you know, they ain't big. Here we go. So we'll get all those sewn again when we have another free day. Block 50, officially 51 tomorrow. That's pretty exciting. Thanks again, guys, for being here, and I will get this video up. Most likely it'll be up by Monday, and so will the other videos that came before this. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.